What is good, guys? This is Charles from Team COG coming to you guys here with a whole local experience. Tonight we are playing Infernobles here at Locals, and I thought we would just showcase all my matches throughout the night. And I think I might do this moving forward with other decks and everything like that. But I ended up losing the dice roll hill against my man Caleb, who is on the Lab strategy. And Labyrinth is rough, dude. Lab is such a rough matchup. This deck does so much that I think it just kind of like overwhelms the opponent on like what it does. But anyway, we're going to see a normal summon of Ariana, I believe, to search out the Coup Clock. Coup Clock is pretty insane too. Pitching Coup Clock to be able to activate here. He's going to pitch the Chandragleer and Nibiru, which is kind of awesome to see that get out of the hand. I'm trying to look at my hand, catch a glimpse of it. I see Tactics, a couple monsters, and some spells. I think Museum's one of them. Yeah, I see Museum. Maybe that's Ash Blossom as well. So like Ash is really good to be able to check the welcome and stuff like that. But he's going to go ahead and go up in here to the Unchained monster. And so I'm kind of thinking, I was like, okay, so like the Unchained stuff does a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and fire Ash off here at the Yama, because the Unchained stuff gives him so much extra layers of disruption. It's kind of crazy. But we're going to draw for turn here, and we drew into, I think, another Museum, which is kind of nice here. So I think I go ahead and fire off Museum, go ahead and pay the 12 here to search, because Museum's like the first thing you want to like resolve, because like at least you can use the second effect, right, if they have Droll. So we're going to add that. I have Call by the Grave. That's what I ended up drawing. That's awesome. So sucks to be like to draw like Saki 1-ups, right? But like sometimes you got to. So I'm gonna go ahead and add equip the Durandal, to the Yama, just to go ahead and search out. I could search out Uppercutter here. I could search. Yep, that's what I do. Search out Uppercutter. I can search out Red Layer and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and search out the Uppercutter, which is the best normal summon this deck has. So we're gonna fire off a normal summon Uppercutter. Attempt to use Uppercutter's effect here. So like I think my hand is pretty solid. Like my hand's like insulated to be able to play through like 2 or 3 disruptions, but it just like depends on like what happens, because I know that the welcome can summon out the Lady, I believe, and Lady can destroy something. But we're gonna just special summon out the Battle Boxer Spar just because we control Battle Boxer. I do apologize for the glare, and I will apologize because the glare will not get much better in the final 2 rounds, just because like placing and stuff switches, because like this was supposed to be the feature match table, but I ended up being at table 1, round 1, round 2, so like this took up the feature matches. So I have to like, hopefully we'll get some more matches recorded today as of voicing this over. But we're gonna go ahead and make Battle Boxer King Dempsey's effect on summon, and we'll go ahead and chain here to go ahead and get the Spar to the graveyard so that we can go ahead and grab Renault. So this is standard. No, actually we go ahead and we grab Ricciardetto. So that must mean we have, that must be, yeah, there we go. So we opened Renault, and like this is what I was saying in my profile, like it's sometimes nicer just to play like these really good cards like Renault and Ogier and stuff like that at more than just one at the singleton names, because you're more than likely, like the percentage is not like super crazy, but you're more likely to see them, so you don't have to waste your searches on them. So you're able to play through more things because you're able to hold your searches. But we're going to see a flip of, I believe that is a big welcome to summon out the, ooh, I forget her name. I think she's Lady Labyrinth. So she's going to bounce back the Yama. I get the add back, and she's going to get to destroy a card in the hand, which is pretty crazy. So, but that's going to summon out that's going to tempt Chandragleer to come back. So I'm going to go ahead and Call by the Grave Chandragleer here. But he's going to go ahead and use Imperm here to stop the Call by, which kind of stinks. But he's going to get to destroy. That's bad misplay on my part. Fell right into the Imperm zone. I just really wasn't thinking of it there. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and activate Talents and attempt to look at the hand here, because I know he has Chandragleer and he has another card in his hand. So that's what I want to check and make sure here. And I also know that like the Coup Clock can add back, like these Labyrinth cards are quite crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's surprising, like to me, like this deck is like such a combo trap deck. It's really cool, honestly. Like I actually really do like this deck. I hate playing against it, but I like what it does. So I'm gonna attempt to look at the hand. He's gonna chain Chandragleer, getting ready to have a second nib in his hand. So he opened 2 nibs, which is kind of bad, but he's going to be able to set welcome and then add back the Coup Clock, and then he could activate the Coup Clock to activate the welcome, but I don't think there's anything he could get here. But I'm going to go ahead and go into Ibzold here to go ahead and search a World Legacy Succession. He starts to wrap it up here, and I tell him like, wait, dude, I don't have a battle phase, so you're probably okay. But he's like, okay, all right. So he goes ahead and chains Coup Clock here. I go ahead and add Succession, and then we're getting ready to go off into the races here. So something people should understand is like with the loss of Isolde, we are a Synchro 5-based strategy. Like our best monster is Angelica, and Angelica is what gets our plays going. So she's a Synchro 5. So the purpose of playing like Ib and stuff like that is so that we can, like bait stuff. We can go into things. But So this combo is 100% safe even if they touch like anything Snake Eyes. So this is like, to me, I feel like this would be like the newest lines you can do. Like there's tons of them out there, so don't like say like this is gospel, but this is like a cool line you can do while playing like Ib, which gives you like a lot of like insulation before you make your Angelica. But we're gonna go ahead and, you know, make Hida. Hida's gonna Ib is gonna summon out the back end. We're gonna see him chain the welcome to summon out Ariana. I think that's one's name is Ariana. But I'm just reading Big Welcome because I want to make sure he can't just bounce something, because like sometimes like, man, these cards don't have like, you can only use one effect per turn, but thank goodness Big Welcome does. So right here we're going to go ahead and go up into Power Tool Braver Dragon, which is Turbulence, as Rudy Torres calls it, for the equip spell. So we get to equip up to 3 from grave or deck. So we're just going to go ahead and equip 2. We're going to equip the Durandal from grave, and we're going to go ahead and equip here. But my man Caleb goes ahead, and we just wrap it up here because I was just ready to go full combo, and he was put on less cards. So we ended up taking game 1 here against the odds, and we're going on into game 2. And game 2, my hand is atrocious. So one of the bad things about not being having Isolde is 2 warriors don't get you anywhere. You need to have a level 4 and a level 1. Essentially a tuner in either on the 4 or the 1 to be able to like do something. And in my opening hand, I open I think 3 spells and Flint Lady and Renault. So we're going to see him Pot of Extra for 6, showing me Eradicator, which if he would have took Eradicator and could have comboed with it, like I said, I had 3 spells in my hands. I had Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, one other unknown spell, I think Joyous, and Renaud and Flint Lady. So my hand is looking pretty bad. However, like thinking he goes and does Arias here to summon out the Ariana, which please forgive me if I'm wrong here, to grab the Stoby Torby. And then he's going to pitch Coup Clock to be able to, and then he's going to go ahead and send the Stoby Torby. So he's able to activate Big Welcome this turn, which is pretty crazy. And then Coup Clock's going to resummon itself. And then I believe he can. It's just wild, man. Like, he's going to summon out the Big Lady here, which is going to destroy a card in hand, bounce the Coup Clock back to the hand, so he gets other things going on here. Like, it's just kind of crazy. And that's going to make that trap card a disruption. So he's going to go ahead and hit the Renault out of my hand, which is rough. But we're going to go ahead and see Torby come back. And I think we just see him, like, move on into Unchained plays after this. Because he has enough. That's crazy. What's kind of crazy is, like, Yama doesn't, like, it's generic, right? There's 2 Fiends, I believe. So, like, it's not, like, doesn't require an Unchained monster, which is insane. But he's going to add Shivara. And then Shivara is going to pop and destroy stuff. And he's just going to be able to do, like, some crazy stuff here. He's going to normal summon the Stoby because he has not normal summoned yet. Or not the Stoby, the Coup Clock. So he has a normal summon so he can make the Unchained Soul of Rage. And then this is where he's going to get the trap. So, like, right here, on top of all his, like, Labyrinth stuff, he has, like, 2 forms of disruption. Through 3 forms, technically, if you count what the Unchained can do here. So I'm going to go ahead and, I believe, fire off the Harpies in my hand. So, because I know that, just because I know that might force some other monsters out, and maybe, like, there's a slim chance he'll put them in attack position, so then I can hit him with Lightning Storm. But he's going to chain the D-Barrier Calling Synchro, which in my hand, looking right now, knowing that he has a fire in the grave, I could make, like, Princess and go up into Flamebow Whale, which is why I've been playing Flamebow Whale in my list, because, like, sometimes these weaker hands are able to do something, and Princess plus Whale is, like, 2 forms of disruption at a minimum, whereas if you did not play Flamebow Whale, you really couldn't do anything in this scenario, especially since you opened these level 1s. So then we're going to see the Ariana get to do some cool things. We're going to get to see the Big Lady get to do something, and the Yama in the graveyard is going to do something, along with Stoby Torby. So this is where, like, you can kind of get overwhelmed with the amount of chains that are starting to happen. It becomes quite a lot here. And Yama's just insane. Since cards are destroyed, he can, banish to add back. So this is where he does a really good play here. Super. Like, I mean, like, he really didn't have much of an option, I believe. I guess he could have added back something else, but I think he adds back the Shivara. No, he uses the Yama to summon something out. So technically Shivara is still in the graveyard, which I can, like, use for Princess. But he's going to destroy. He hits World Legacy Succession. That was my draw for turn. So I ended up having, like, Renault, Flint Lady, Storm, Duster, Joyous, and I drew Succession. So he's going to go ahead and add that beautiful Quarter Century, or Lady of the Labyrinth. I think that's what she is. Then we're going to just go Lightning Storm. And then I kind of, like, hindsight. So, like, I had to get rid of, like, the Unchained because it was just going to be able to turn my first Special Summon monster into the SP Little Knight. So then he was going to solve 2 cards with 1. So, like, I had to. But he ends up adding back Shivara, which kind of stinks. Simply because, like, that could have been my... that was kind of like my only way out, in a way. If I could get into Shavara, summon out, or get into Hida, summon out Shavara, then like go battle phase, solve a few things, then go up into Princess Reborn, one of my own fires, and then make Flambeau Whale. But he like ends up adding it back, so like I don't have an additional fire to be able to. And this is where the big lady she just allows you to like by hitting that one card like every turn, so like it puts you down 2 cards, just kind of comes into play here. And I'm gonna special summon Renault, add back Joyous, and like I said, we really miss Isolde here because we could go 2 warriors and do some things, but sadly, we cannot. He also has the Trap Engrave ready to fire off to be able to do something, but I think we just wrap it up here very shortly and give it to him because like there's really nothing I can do. Yep, so we just wrap it up and move on into that all-important game number 3. Game number 3, I get to go first. Now, I had a lot of bad hands game number 3 that are just like bad luck, especially in one of my later matches, you'll see. But let's see here. I have Ogier plus combo. He goes in and activates a Coup Clock, which is okay. I have Ash Blossom, which is going to be all right because Ash can check the welcome that he's able to set. I follow up with the Museum to be able to add Durandal. And I think this is a Gearfried line. I think that's what I try to see here. But I actually have OSS in my hand, the original Sinful Spoil, so it's like this allows me to do something. So he actually answers Ogier with Imperm, which is really good because it prevents me from getting to Gearfried, but it's also like, now that Imperm's gone, it's pretty good. Like, Imperm being gone is like tremendous. So I go ahead and activate the Durandal here to go ahead and use it to go ahead and search for a level 4. Oh, I had Uppercutter. Okay. Okay, so I have Flint Lady in hand, so I'm able to like special Flint Lady and like get access to Uppercutter. And then he's going to go ahead and chain the Stoby Torby, sending it and the Unchained Trap. I do see Effect Veilers in there, but you know, it's okay. I know most of the times, guys, when I play at locals, stuff like that, if I see a misplay like that, I will pretend I didn't see it. I try not to like benefit on like my players, like at locals, you know, like I try not to benefit too much on it because it's just locals, but like at a higher event, man, you misplay and you send that Effect Veiler, I'm maneuvering around it. But he's going to go and activate the Big Welcome. I chain Ash, so that means now all I got to do is play around one Effect Veiler. And in this situation here, I believe, even if he Effect Veilers Uppercutter, I still just play through because I have OSS in hand, so like it's like I'm just able to like play through it all. So I go ahead and go in to make Dempsey. I go Dempsey effect on summon, and I kind of wait here for a second. So I know he has Effect Veiler, but I decide like to play my how I play normally. So I go activate Effect of Dempsey to search or send. He goes, that's all right. And I was like, chain effect to detach and make them untargetable. He chains Effect Veiler, so I don't get the send here. So hypothetically, knowing he had an Effect Veiler, as soon as he let the search go through, I should have just let it happen. But it is what it is. Like I said, I try not to play like that. So now I'm just trying to figure out. I have OSS in hand, so I'm just trying to figure out what's the best option to send. He's literally on no cards, and I have like literally full combo here. So like I just can. I think this gets me to like double Charles here. So I try to step up into Hida here, which I don't think I do. I think I don't do that. Yeah, I don't do it because of Ogier. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to keep the field spell on field and stuff like that. So I go ahead and activate OSS, sending off the Dempsey. Now, looking back at it, I probably could have gone into Hida and still sent off the field spell and then, like, done stuff, like, underneath Hida. But once you go into Ricardetto is one of the only few things in the deck that lock you into warriors. The other being Museum if you decide to move up a Infernoble from your spell and trap zone while you do not control Charles. And the other one is Durandal if you Monster Reborn with Durandal, because if you Monster Reborn with Durandal, you are locked into warriors. So there's only like 3 things that lock you into warriors. So just trying to place around that so you can get access to like your Hida, your Princess, and then like in some cases you like move up into Ambler Whale. But most of the time, Princess is being destroyed by Charles to free up the zone so you can make a second Charles and stuff like that. But using Angelica to send the Gearfried, and then like this is just going to be full combo right here. Like going on up into to use the second field spell that we got off Angelica to make Charles equipped, go here into Charles 1, Charles 1, Almas 2. Then we can use the field spell to move up, equip. So we end up, after playing through that, we end up getting to double Charles here to be able to banish and summon out Gearfried. And this is more than enough for game, man. This is like 35, 35, 35, so that's like 11,500. We just moved to the end phase, and we're just going to go ahead and grab stuff here. But since I'm going first, I don't get a battle phase. So like it puts him on like 1 card here, and we wrap it up. So that was game 1 versus Lab. Game number 2 is versus YuGiOh, and I have not read a single YuGiOh card, so it's going to be interesting here. So we go on into Pot of Prosperity to start us out here, losing a dice roll yet again. It's crazy. You guys will see later on the dice roll that I win the game. Like I just totally, I I get blasted with, which is kind of funny. But we're going to see an excavation of three YuGiOh cards that I have to read, and I am not super familiar. I can't tell you the name off the top of my head, and I don't have access to pull them up right here. But I can tell you like what they do. This is like their continuous activate. You get to destroy a dark monster on field and hand. It's kind of like Dragonic Diagram in a way. And then you get to add a YuGiOh or something like that. And then like if any battle damage involved like gets inflicted to me or something, which is pretty nutty, pretty crazy. He's going normal summon the Lotus. The Lotus effect will tribute itself to like I think add or summon a YuGiOh, which is pretty nice. And then it has like a quick effect. It comes out and then it can make an effect to be like you destroy a YuGiOh or something. It's kind of wild, man. Kind of wild. But I think if you guys saw Jesse Cotton's video, this is one of the projected decks to be one of the best or a very good deck moving forward. But that is Spirit of YuGiOh. I only know it because it looks like the Spirit of Neos. But this deck's like strong, like main gimmick, which is like not like I shouldn't even call it a gimmick. Its strategy is like super poly. Like that's like literally its like main strategy, and it is super strong. The trap card here lets him summon a YuGiOh or like super poly, and I'd have to reread that card, but I believe at the end of the match we read it. It says like he has to control original YuGiOh to be able to use the effects. And looking back at I think it's this game here. I have tactics. I attempt to I debate whether I should take YuGiOh or not, and I choose not to. And if I am correct with the trap card that he has to control YuGiOh to activate it, then the correct play would have been to take YuGiOh because. Then he couldn't have activated it, and then I would have been scot-free. But if I'm incorrect, it is what it is. If I am correct, you know, it's learning experience. This deck might get popular, you know, with all this stuff coming behind it. Because it doesn't really seem like, right here, look at it, like, truly, it doesn't seem like what it's doing is a lot. Like, I almost only have to play through one known interruption. That's a super poly. But we end up drawing here. We have Warlike Succession in my hand. We're going to go to Activate Museum. Succession is not the worst card to see. I actually really prefer it. Like, at worst case, sometimes, man, it just lets you, like, become, like, bring back, like, Charles to make, like, a second Charles for free, which is kind of crazy. But we're going to go to Activate Tactics here. And this is where I probably should have taken the YuGiOh. That's why I was like, dang. I was like, 1 second, let me think. Because, like, if I take and you super poly, you just super poly anything I have with YuGiOh, so it's like, what's the point, you know? So, I decided to look at his hand, which also was incorrect, and I'll tell you when I get ready to go through my deck too, and I get to see my next 2 cards that I would have drew if I used the draw effective tactics, and they were garbage as well. So like truly the best option probably would have been taking YuGiOh, because I get to look at his hand, and his hand is not good at all. So I look at his hand, literally 2 cards I already know, no hand traps there, which I just go ahead and shuffle back the Lotus because, you know, I know that card gives him like some follow-up. But I think like the continuous can just search it out again because it's kind of crazy. But I go ahead and activate Heritage of the Chalice to go ahead and add. And I check my 2 cards that I would have drawn. I'm like, wow, yep, they're garbage. So the best play would have been taking the YuGiOh. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't think it was a good effect. Clearly, since his hand was his hand wasn't that great, and my next 2 draws would have not been amazing either. It seems like no matter what effect I used of tactics, it was not gonna put me in a better position than what I already was. But anyway, Heritage of the Chalice. I'm thinking of what to add here. I can't remember what's in my hand. I think I'm trying to contemplate if I want to go for O-Gear or stuff like that. So like I don't have Fenrir's and stuff like that yet, which I'm just waiting to buy them. I'm waiting to figure out if they're safe or not. Because that card has just always been like oppressive and probably should have been touched or hit, and I refuse to buy it, and then Konami decide to hit it, so I'm just waiting to like see. And if you do have Fenrir's and stuff like that, definitely side out the Battle Boxer package going second, because like Spar not allowing you to have a battle phase is tremendous. But I send Turpin, use the Museum, equip to Ogier, use Museum to move forward Turpin. And I'm trying to figure out what I can do here. Because I'm trying to play around Super Poly, and I think maybe I was honestly thinking too hard into Super Poly. Like, honestly, like maybe I was like over exaggerating, but I try to go into Hida, but we catch it here. I can't go into Hida because I used Turpin's effect to use Museum to special summon Turpin, and I didn't control a Charles. So, like, I'm warrior locked. I can't actually legally make Hida. But conveniently enough, I actually catch it because of, because your boy ain't trying to cheat. So I end up catching it, and we end up going back. And it truly doesn't matter because my next play, he imperms, and it ends in the same result. And like I say, like in this scenario, knowing that he has imperm, when I go back, I pretend like I don't. So I don't try to play around it knowing that he has it. And I try to link up into Princess here. but then I think this is... No, SP, and then I catch it. The end result is still SP, but I just noticed I can't make Hida. And I was like, so we have to go back. It's a repairable game state, conveniently enough. And I told him, I was like, I'm not going to play like I know it's there. I'll just do the only other line that I have access to, and then you have the opportunity, since you have the imperm set, that you can imperm what you want. So I go ahead and make the there. I activate the search. He goes ahead and does it. I chain to go ahead and detach, just to go ahead and get it out of the way. It's kind of crazy that, it's ridiculous. I think that Dempsey has an effect that you can't, it's a quick effect you can't target, but then, like, it has, like, it was worded in the way that it just, if they already target it, it's gone. It should have had, like, a different effect, you know, like, or unaffected by card effect or something that are kind of, you know, something, like, in the sense of, like, it's usable. You know what I mean? Instead, making it have to be able to, like, do what it does, I guess. But anyway, we're going to use Durandal here to go ahead and add the Renault here. But I guess that might be too much. That might be asking too much for Dempsey to be like that good. We're going to search on Renault. Renault to go ahead and add back, I think, Turpin. And Turpin... We can still special summon Turpin if we have an equip spell somewhere floating around, which I think we do. I'm looking at SP, which is my only option. I'm locked into Warrior, so I have to go SP. SP effect, and I think I go ahead and attempt to banish... Arguably, it might have been best to banish the Continuous, but like I said, I'm kind of sketched out of the trap here. But I know he has another Continuous in his hand, so it's like, alright, maybe I should have banished Yubel too. Got greedy, but he ends up chaining and summoning out the Spirit of Yubel, and I was just like, oh wait, I can't even respond to this, and it's like, I can respond to the trap, I just can't respond to the summon of Yubel, the Spirit of Yubel. Which, not like, so I could respond and, like, you know, use SP here. But, like, since I have the ability to get out Turpin, I think I also was thinking in my mind, I was like, okay, so I can, like, equip this to SP, special, make Princess, but I'm locked into Warrior, so, like, that might have been the better play. And then, like, he literally just gets to reset it. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, we wrap it up here. I don't think there's really much I could do in that game. I think that I was just destined to lose that one. There's not really anything I could... Maybe I thought too much along Super Poly. I was too concerned about it. But anyway, we're going to go first. Looking like we're seeing Succession and Beckon in my hand. Beckon, Succession you don't mind seeing. Succession is like a powerful extender, but gosh, you hate seeing Beckon. But we're able to play with Beckon too. That's like one of the good things about this deck. It's not like back in the day where like, if you open like Colt Wing or something like that, like your combo was like screwed. Which it wasn't screwed back in the day either. You just had to like make do with tokens that you had. But we have Ash and stuff like that in hand as well. And this just pretty much kills the Ib line opening Beckon. And there's just no way to get Beckon. I was like kind of thinking, I think there was a way too, but I think I was overthinking it. I think I was too focused on trying to get the Beckon out of my hand. And I think the best play would have been to just do my normal combo. Like the one uppercutter bridges you into so many different lines. Like just go through an uppercutter line where it doesn't involve making Ib. And then like just I have Succession as an extender to be able to make like a second Charles or something. But anyway, we normal summon out the uppercutter effect. We're going to go ahead and grab the Spar. Spar being an old school card is kind of crazy that it's not like once per turn. It's inherent just as long as you control Battle Box and you keep special summoning it. But we go ahead and make the best play, first play, Battle Boxer King Dempsey. I really wish Dempsey had a higher rarity. I also wish that Spar was like a super or something. But we go ahead and add Renault. It's always good to see when they let me resolve Dempsey because a lot of my players locals understand like how important the Dempsey, like this is a intricate part of the combo. Like if you stop like Dempsey, like they don't think about it, like it's over. But I'm seeing my man, he has Super Poly in the hand here, which means like I know this deck is Super Poly deck. So like Angelica's Angel Ring Tongue Twister is going to like be really good here. So I'm just trying to, like, do mathematics. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how in the heck I can get, like, Beckon out of my hand, which I think I'm far past the point. Since I normal summoned, like, I'm far past the point of being able to get out of my hand. I was mistaken. I thought Joyce could summon any warrior from hand, but it has to be a fire warrior, which kind of stinks. And there's not really... Maybe one day Konami will give, like, World Chalice, like, a fire warrior, right? Like, chosen by the World Chalice comes back in, like, a warrior form. But Konami should give Crusadia support before that, which, God, please, if you're listening. We're going to go ahead and activate off-screen here the... Museum to go ahead and grab us Durandal effect to go ahead and search us Roland. We're going to go ahead and fire off the Roland, I believe. Target chain Angelica's effect. No response, which is always a good thing to hear. And I'm just trying to think of like what's the next what do I send? I think I send Turpin because I'm missing a body because, you know, he wasn't able to do like the Ib line, which is alright because I have an equip spell I think in my hand or Or do I mess it up here? I don't think I messed up. I think I just miscalculated. So I have to use Turpin to attach. No, I still get to SP. So I use Turpin to attach, Museum to move forward, make Charles, and then I just use Captain Roland to equipped, make Charlemagne, go ahead and do that. And I think now that I have equipped, I special summon out the Turpin. I do believe I have. So we're checking something real quick here, and I was like, well, wait a second. No, I don't need to do that. So what happened here was I was thinking, like, I think I can pop the equip. I think Charles can pop the other Charles, but we decided that it doesn't. Because like by the time that Charles equips it, and then it gets the effect to pop, so it doesn't have time to see, I think is what we were thinking of, which I didn't need to do anyway, which I decided against doing. But it was just something like I was telling him, I was like, I think I'm gonna pop Charles, and he's like, can you pop Charles? I was like, I think so. And then I like kind of like once we looked at it, I was like, all right, I don't really want to pop Charles anyway, because I thought like looking back, like maybe I'd have a second line to make a second Charles, but I didn't have another equip to be able to do anything. So I have Succession in hand, which I just end up holding it along with the Beckend, which I don't know if that would have mattered in the long run. We end up grabbing Angelica's Angel Ring here and grabbing Oliver from the deck. Remember, guys, this is locals, and like me and my buddy Kyle, we test a lot and stuff like that. So we're not out to just like, we're not only out to win and clap each other's cheeks, we're out to like make each other better. But anyway, this is my inboard, so technically 3 forms of disruption. He goes ahead and activates the continuous. I go ahead and have to respond with Charles because like if these continuous spells and field spells just shut Angel Ring off right away. And I know he's on Super Poly. I know his deck is like literally Super Poly.deck, so like I need to have Angel Ring survive. So I end up negating and destroying, and he ends up having the Abominable Unchained in his hand. Like such a bad fortune events here. Since the card was negated and destroyed, he can summon it, discard, and destroy 1 card in the field. And I think he should have gone for Charles, but I understand the reason why. So I end up chaining SP to that. He hits Angel Ring, so he can Super Poly, so he Super Polys Angelica and stuff like that. I'm just checking the Abominable just to make sure. I was like, it should be able to trigger because a card gets destroyed. It doesn't care what, like, if it's destroyed on activation, destroyed on resolution, just as long as the card is destroyed. Which is pretty cool. I need to Super Poly into Garuda. Garuda is actually kind of nuts. It does like double battle damage, which is kind of crazy. SP comes back, and so does the Abominable Unchained. So I actually have a pretty solid hand, like a pretty good clapback here. The Abominable Unchained gets to come back during the end phase if I destroy it, and then of course Garuda gets him a draw. He has 1 card in hand. So I want to make sure I like resolve the destruction of Garuda last, because I don't want him drawing into like a hand trap or something, like Nib or anything. So I end up normal summon Beckon, go into Link Spider, go Succession to bring back Charles, which is right here a prime example why Succession is not terrible to ever see in your opening hand. It just sucks seeing Beckon. Roll into Equipped. I think I go ahead and go Charles effect to destroy the Unchained, but that just means during the end phase the Unchained gets to come back, which I believe he forgets. But we destroy it, and then I just go ahead and make Charlemagne. And I kind of like I was noticing like SP might not be too good in this match, so like in order to progress my game state and to put me in like a better position, I believe I link off Link Spider and SP into the Princess, because I believe the Princess just requires like 2 effect monsters, which is kind of nutty in itself. If it does, I'm gonna double check here. So I'm gonna use Durandal, use the field spell, so I get like the ability to move stuff up. So then, yeah, Prometheus just requires 2 effect monsters. It doesn't have to be fire. I special summon. I move up Charles first off with the field spell to go ahead and add back Roland. And I synchro into the Baron de Fleur, and then I step into Princess, and then Princess is gonna allow me to step into Flambeau Whale, and then which is pretty good. But I decided to like. I'm just looking, I can solve Garuda with the Baron pop, so like I'm pretty solid. So I go ahead and bring back out the Charles, use Baron to go ahead and pop the Garuda. Garuda lets him draw a card, and I believe he drew Imperm, which is just bad, like it's just bad luck at the end of the day. So we attack for 35 with Charles. He activates Imperm on Baron. I'm trying to decide if if that's worth letting go, if that's worth to go through. I decided it is because, like, you know, like, all right, like, that's fine. I still get to maintain the Baron's negate. I swing with Charles. He special summons YuGiOh. YuGiOh lets him set. And, like, okay. And then, like, this card can't be destroyed by battle or take any battle damage, which is pretty nutty. He gets to reset. But we're in such a commanding position, man. We're going to get Angel Ring back. We're going to be able to link up into Flambeau Whale, and then Flambeau Whale will be able to, like, just get us, like, snowballs into advantage, especially since SP's also in the graveyard now, too. I know some people are going to be like, oh, Flambeau Whale's terrible in the deck, blah, blah, don't play it. Well, man, this is a prime example of why it's not terrible. And I'm not saying you have to play it, but like I said, all I'm doing is showcasing you guys that don't listen to, like, what everything you say. Test everything you want, because if Princess, you don't really have a lot of ways to get rid of Princess besides, like, sending it with OSS or popping it with Charles. Having Flambeau Whale to link up into when you're not warrior locked, it gives you phenomenal stuff. And Flambeau Whale can bring back Charles to link 1 too. So worst case scenario, you get to bring back a spell and trap negate. But anyway, we end up equipping Oliver from the graveyard, then grabbing Angel Ring from there, from the graveyard as well during the end phase, and getting Ogier from the deck so he can't destroy something. So now technically we have, like, he goes and activates the trap card, and I have to respond and I have to negate, but I don't think he can activate it. So he goes ahead, he activates it, and I have to respond with Charles to go ahead and send, I believe it's an Ogier to negate it. And he goes ahead and he passes, I believe, thinking he's safe because of the no battle damage. But during the end phase, Charles gets the trigger, equipping from graveyard and equipping from deck. And then we get to destroy it. And then we just battle phase, we have enough damage. You know, so we go ahead and wrap it up and move on into that all-important game number 3. So game number 3 here, I'm kind of scared, man, because, like, this deck can, like, kind of whack you for a lot of damage and put the working on you, and we're getting close to time, man. And at time, like, it's fair that Museum makes us pay. It puts us, like, on a clock. So, like, I'm already in a losing spot because time has been going down. He's going to activate the Sacred Beast Ruins card to go ahead and grab him the 1 Sacred Beast. And I'd never understood, like, I was like, what does this package even do for the deck? I was just so confused, and then I finally get to see what it does. The little Sacred Beast lets you banish and summon the Lotus from the graveyard. He goes and activates the YuGiOh Continuous. I respond with Ash. He sets a card and passes. I draw for turn, and I'm just feeling super poly, man. So I go ahead and go Durandal, and it's just trying to play around it. He go ahead and ashes the Durandal, which is interesting, and I attempt to almost make a misplay here, but luckily I catch it here too. So I go and attempt to special summon out Turpin. I was like, nope, I can't, never mind. And then I normal summon Ricciardo, equip, then special out Turpin. Because you have to control the monster equipped to special Turpin, and since I didn't. So, good catch there. However, I can just, like, move on into the Hida. And so, I believe I'm trying to figure out a way to solve resolve the oh god, I can't think of his name. Brain fart. He super polished me here. I wanted to, like, try to keep the Durandal equipped, so, like, when that monster goes to the graveyard, I get, like, a monster reborn during his turn. But we end up getting super polyed here with Garuda yet again, which, I mean, it is what it is. Super poly is super poly is an insane card, and it is in the deck that it's meant for, so I'm not even mad at all. But that's pretty much stops us in our turn, so we just get to keep Princess up here. And we are warrior locked at this moment because of because we used Princess to reborn Ricciardo. So now I'm just looking at my graveyard. I was like, I really can't do anything else here. I'm just going to pass it over. And he's going to go ahead and normal summon out the Lotus effect Tribute to go ahead and summon out the Spirit of YuGiOh, and then he's going to go ahead and reset the trap, which is kind of crazy. And then I believe, so he's taking 27. I think he crashes into my YuGiOh, which then I take 27, which puts us at tied life, which is kind of scary. And it's kind of interesting because, like, Angel Ring being such a powerful card, it also is a time card, but when I know that I'm going second, I side it out because I'm not trying to set it up. I'm trying just to get a lot of, like, oppression on the field. But anyway, the Lotus here. is going to he's going to get a draw card, I believe, off the Garuda, because that Garuda, the continuous YuGiOh spell just destroys a dark monster. So like it just pops it literally just, it's crazy. Like it turns 2 of my monsters into a fusion that he can pop and get a draw. So it's like a +3 when you look at card advantage, right? Like it solves 2 bodies and gets you a draw. Like it's kind of crazy. Technically 4, because solve 2 bodies gives you a body you need a draw. That's like 4 pluses, right? That's insane. But I don't think so. I draw. Time in the round is called. I go and activate the reinforcements here, and I'm like thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. If I use reinforcements, I can just grab YuGiOh and then like send and then do some things here. But I'm like, oh, I don't have Angel Ring because Angel Ring's in my side deck. But I believe technically, if I would have had Angel Ring, he could have burned me, just because of like the play, like having the playthrough. But once I see I don't have Angel Ring, I was like, there's really nothing more I can do to progress or do anything to give me any life or anything. So even like here, it's a tie, which stinks, and he's just explained to me. I think this is where we find out that you can't, maybe he couldn't have done it because you have to control the original YuBell, but I'm not too familiar with the trap to be able to tell you that. But anyway, so we end up getting a tie here, which is just pretty rough, but it's kind of like, it's interesting, right? Like, I believe, I don't know if he'd been able to pop or not, but like, maybe we could have pushed through and got the game here. So we're going into game number 3 here versus Snake Eyes Volcanics. And this is finally, you guys will see here, I win the dice roll. And I'm on the wrong side of the mat. I roll double box cards, so it's like, oh man, I am destined to win this one. I draw 1 for 1. I draw just a crazy going first hand. My hand's like, seen 1 for 1, being able to play through stuff, see Museum. Sadly, man, like, so this is interesting, right? This just seems to be the curse of a content creator, right? I sit on this side, the glare's terrible. My opponent who's on the other side, no glare. And it's like, if I were to sit on my opponent's side, I'd have all the glare too. So I go ahead and activate Museum. I normal summon Connector, or not Connector, Uppercutter, God bless, God rest Connector, man. I really wish that we had it. But it's kind of interesting because, like, Connector and Dolphin does not do as much as Uppercutter does, but, like, we do miss the hand knowledge. Like, truly, after playing and testing with Uppercutter and stuff, that's really what I've come to miss, is, like, just the hand knowledge. Like, I really, truly think that Uppercutter is the better normal summon because of what it does. And, of course, with his old round, like, Connector just takes it completely. But you can do so much more with Connector and Uppercutter, or Uppercutter and, like, Spar than you could with, like, Connector and Dolphin. But we go into Ib to grab us the Royal Exceed Succession, which I believe he ashes here, which is okay. That's a good ash target, but, like, again, Ib is just like his old. At the first effect add, you ash it, we have a cool second effect that we link off, or that we can use and summon from the deck. So that's why we're able to link off into the Beck end here. And again, guys, I'm so sorry for the glare. I really can't beat the glare at my locals. There's just maybe like some positions I can be in where I can. And it's just kind of one of those things where, like, maybe I just need to take a little bit extra time, like, before matches. I use Heated Reborn, the Ash that he hit me with, to go up into Princess, because I'm not Warrior Locked or anything. But yeah, maybe next time I'll just take, like, a little bit of extra time and, like, move up and, like, see if I can find, like, the glare and stuff and find the best spots. My locals is pretty chill. Like, they don't care. So most of the time, nobody cares about moving or anything like that. So we go up into Appaloosa here. So I'm kind of I was reading Rock for some reason. I was scared of the Rock, so I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and make Appaloosa here. Forget going to Princess, so I end up going 1 for 1, because I have access to 1 for 1. So, like, I'm thinking he's already used Ash, I can just go 1 for 1 here, and just go into my Charles lines and stuff like that. So I just go ahead and bring out Ricardetto to bring back out the Ogier to send. I go ahead and send Gearfried, make Angelica to grab the Museum. And Museum is just insane. Like, we go ahead and fire off Durandal to go ahead and grab us Roland. And Roland is like this package is just so good, guys. Like, I know some people, like, if you're not playing Roland or Angel's Ring, side it. Because, like, this package is remarkable because it not only triggers your Angelica without having to throw in a equip spell, but it literally gives you access to Angel Ring. And if you already have Angel Ring, it can grab you, like, Gearfried or, like, Follow Up. It's just pretty crazy. And then, like, it gives you a grind game because if you get it added back or you get access to it again, if you equipped it to Charles, you can trigger Charles. You can send it as an equip spell with Charles or Gearfried, which in the end phase of that turn, you get more recursion. But we're going to go ahead and make Charles, equip the Alamus, make Charlemagne, grab back the Gearfried. So we're going to, and I think our end board is going to be Charles, Gearfried. No, I'll go ahead and fire. I just say screw it and fire off the second field spell because I want to be able to make a second Charles. So my end board is going to be Appaloosa with Gearfried and double Charles, which maybe is a little greedy. Maybe I shouldn't have made all that. but especially with Angel Ring too. So like you're looking at 3 forms of disruption off of Appaloosa. You're looking at 3 forms of disruption off of the Charles that'll be equipped with Appaloosa, or equipped with Angel Ring. So that's 6 forms of disruption, 7 off the second Charles, 8 with Gearfried, and we're getting a draw off of the Malgus here, which is pretty insane. This is crazy. Like, I have more interactions on field than my opponent will have cards in hand. That ain't right. That is not right. Arguably, I'm kind of thinking if he would have held the Ash for Angelica, it would have been better. But we're just going to go ahead and use Gearfried to negate the Ash and everything. I think if he would have just... See, it's crazy because, like, I'd say it's unfair, right? That's unfair that my deck can do that. But if he had hand-trapped Angelica... Well, actually, he couldn't have hand-trapped Angelica because I made Appaloosa. But, like, 9 times out of 10, if you just hold a hand-trap for Angelica. So look at this hand, dude. I have 3 1-of spells in my hand. I have 1-for-1, OSS... I believe a Succession again, which Succession was just glued to my hand, and Renaud. So, like, my hand is horrible. It's horrendous. I need something to play through. And I think this is the game you get to see some next-level plays, which doesn't actually, like... It's cool. It's cool I got to do it, but it doesn't win me the game, I don't believe. But he ends up just doing Snake Eye combo here. And I think he messes it up. I think he says he messes it up. I'm not too fluent with the Snake Eye stuff. I just know that Flameburge is, like, a pretty insane card as well. And that I know... So he's playing Volcanic Snake Eye, so I don't know, like, if he's trying to do, like, where the bridge becomes there, you know? Because this is mostly just Snake Eye stuff. So, again, if my man Bashir is fluent with Snake Eyes, or fluent with Volcanics, I don't know where, like, you know... And like I said, my hand's just side in all this stuff. I have droplets in hand too, which is really nice. That's going to actually come in pretty crazy here in a little bit. But like I said, the Snake Eye stuff just benefits so much. And like, again, we're a level 5 synchro strategy. I only have Renaud. That's it. I have no level 4 in hand. And knowing my luck, I'm probably going to end up drawing like a level 1. Like Flint Lady's going to pop up. Or I'm going to draw into something that's like not usable. But I have access to 1-for-1, which is cool. But it's just... So he's just still doing Snake Eye stuff. He makes S or IP, and I think this is where he realizes he messes up, which I'm not too sure where he messed up. I think you go up here into... I don't know if he had to make Anima here. Did he have to make Anima? I don't think he had to make Anima. No. So he's summoning. So this is where like the volcanic side of the stuff comes in. He's like summons out this thing from the deck, which is a Charmer monster, which is kind of crazy that you can do that. That's pretty cool summoning mechanic. You know, you can summon things from the deck. So he gets the Spiritual Art thing, which burns me for stuff. Tribute a monster, I think I take damage equal to its attack, which is really cool because this is just a pretty much burn. And then he hits me with the Bonfire later on, and man, I was just telling him, like, I've had Droll the entire time, you fool, and that's what I was waiting for, is to do it. He ends up getting Volcanic Emperor. Emperor is pretty insane, and Emperor ends up being, I think, is my downfall. To be honest with you, Scattershot's my downfall against this deck. If you guys have been a part of this channel, you know that this man, I normally, every now and then, I'll get a win off my man Sebastian, but most of the time, he's beating me, and every time he's beating me, it's always with Scattershot. It is literally this card dumps for cost, so, like, no matter what, it's going to burn you for, like, 1,000. And it just, the deck, you already pay, like, 12 off the top, and then sometimes in some good hands, you're paying 24, so you're already reducing your life, and then Scattershot just comes in to finish it. But we're going to see the Flamboel get summoned, and then, well, not yet. No, he's going to summon out, he's going to use the Princess of Flameburge, and then Flameburge is going to put in the back line of the IP. Then he makes the Ambloel, and then we're going to see me draw for turn, and I draw another one of, but the best one of that I could have drawn here. So this card puts me in the game. He's going to chain to Rhoda to go ahead and use Flameburge to move up the IP. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab out... I think I go for Uppercutter here, which, since I knew I was going second, should not be Uppercutter. 100%. Should have been Fenrir. Like, just... It's coming. Like, as soon as this new expand list comes out, as long as Fenrir is untouched, I will be having it, and it'll be in my side deck to be able to, like, side into. Because like I said, I prefer the Fenrir package to be a side-out option. But anyway, so I end up getting here Uppercutter. And we're going to have a cool interaction pop up here. And, I'll go over this interaction because it's really unique and really cool. It's only something you can do with droplets under, like, the very niche scenarios under Droll. And it just kind of punishes game mechanic is what it is. It's just I wouldn't say it's like utilizing game mechanics and such as like turn player priority and stuff like that to your advantage, which in certain situations can come up. So like, do keep that in mind. So I'm just thinking on the best way to do it here. So I have like a really good hand, but I gotta like push through. I know what the set card is. I know like I have droplets in hand, so I can solve, and I got a princess. So I end up normal summoning. He ends up trying to Droll and Lockbird me here, right? So on the resolution of Droll, he goes on resolution, he chains the Droll. So technically, as turn player, I have the ability to activate something. So since he just preemptively fired off Droll, I like, hold up, I have a response on resolution as turn player. In my turn player, I can use Droplet sending a monster, which means he can't respond with Droll. But I believe in the situation, since he chained the trap, he could still respond with Droll. So what this does is this pretty much gives you any sort of additional search before they can hit you with Droll. And how this works is because the window to activate Droll has to be on the resolution of card being added. But since I'm turn player and on resolution I use Droplet sending a monster, he cannot respond with Droll. So it pretty much guarantees me one more search, which could be all that matters in a game, right? So I'm just trying to give it out to him, explain it to him. There's a video that Team Samurai X1 and Pack does that explains it to you. But it's just pretty much, that's the way priority works. When you activate a search effect, your player, you have the ability to activate anything. If you don't have anything, it goes to them, in which case they can respond with Ash Blossom and stuff like that. If they do not, it goes to resolution, and as turn player on the resolution, you have priority to make the first move, not the opponent. So it's just kind of like a way to abuse the game mechanics, because a lot of times like players will just like on res, they'll fire off Droll, like they won't even like give you a chance to like activate anything. But you'll notice that some players will always ask like on res anything, and like right here in this situation here, if he did not have Droll, on res of reinforcements of the army, if he just said, do you have anything on res? I'm like, I would have been like, no, probably not, because I wasn't reading Droll, because he could have activated IP or anything. He could have chained Droll, and then I could not have responded with droplets because I've already passed priority to him. But anyway, I get one more search, and it's not really my hand. Like, it's just, there's a lot I'm going to have to play through, like the princess coming back. So I'm going to attempt to move into Hida here to go ahead and bait the princess, and then I'm going to try and play around Droll just a little bit longer. I'm going to use Hida. Oh no, I'm already Drolled right here because I don't know what I did to allow him to Droll me, because technically... Oh, I think that we were able to roll it since he chained the trap, he could Droll me. But anyway, we're moving on into game number 3. And this game is just... This is a horrible game. A horrible, horrible game. Like, this statistically, dude, look at my hand. It's all green cards. I get to go first. 1 for 1, which is a 1 of in my deck. I've seen a lot. But so, like, guys, this would have been popular. 100% this would have been popular. 1 for 1 was popular in my previous list. So, like, you guys are seeing. I'm seeing 1 for 1. So, the statistically, right, it's popping up, right? No pun intended. I normally would see... the card that I replaced popular with, I should see it the same amount, and here it is. Like you guys have noticed, I've been seeing 1 for 1 a lot over this video. So there you go. I can validate it. I can prove it. But my hand, I just opened droplets plus like a bunch of like spells, and there's nothing I can do. I have no monsters, and statistically, I think I play more monsters than anything. And the fact I didn't see one, like all I needed was one monster to be able to go off. So instead, he gets to have this free turn where he's doing volcanic stuff. So he summons Volcanic Trooper. He gives me a bomb. He gets to activate, like, Blaze Accelerator. He gets to do some pretty interesting stuff. Like, this is kind of cool to see the volcanic side of it. But even though, like, in my opinion, like, when I look at this deck, like, as much as I enjoy seeing, like, volcanics, I hate the gimmick is burning. And, I get, like, burning and stuff like that. Sometimes burning is nice, but when it's, like, kind of like the gimmick, like, and I hate to say, but it's, like, a gimmick of the deck. Like, literally, it's the deck's one condition. Like, the deck literally is either doing Snake Eyes combo, or it's either like, oh, we're going to, like, burn you to death and hope that is enough, or, like, they get, like, the perfect mix of both. But there is, like, some synergy in the deck with, like, Snake Eyes being able to summon level 1 from the deck. You get some level 1 volcanics and stuff. But he's just destroying the bomb token. And, there's going to be a huge misplay here, and I'm going to show you the downfall. This is where it all went down. He gets the Blaze Accelerator here, which is okay. This card is pretty crazy. We all know what Blaze Accelerator does, but I will show you where the downfall, right here. So he summons out Emperor. I have droplets. I should have droplets the Emperor right here, because he gets this card here, and this card allows him to burn me, and this is what puts me right in the range of lethal. If I would have droplets here, I would have made Emperor half the attack. He would not have got that card to burn me, and what kills me would not have mattered because I still would have had life. Especially knowing and getting access to the card that I would have had is just, it's hindsight's always 20/20, but it is what it is. So I'm already low on life. I'm fighting to stay alive. I dropped Gearfried for turn. But since he has monsters now, my Durandal in my hand becomes useful. So like I can use Durandal to go ahead and grab Uppercutter, which then will allow me to like kind of get my combo starting and trying to get me to play. But I'm so low on life that I only get like I think 3 or 4 special summons before Emperor itself kills me. So I got to solve the Emperor before. So he goes ahead and fires off the trap. He doesn't even wait for me. He doesn't know I have Gearfried in hand, so he goes ahead and burns me for half of Emperor, which is 1550, which puts me down to, I believe, 800. I believe. Puts me down to 850 or something like that. And then I go and use Durandal. I'm going to go ahead and add the Uppercutter, normal combo Uppercutter, use the effect to go ahead and grab the Spar. So I know that Battle Phase has to happen. Otherwise, I'm not going to win. So I don't use Spar. I go ahead and use Droplets, sending Joyous. And when I was debating, I was like, what does Trooper do? And he's like, nothing on that. So I shouldn't have done anything here. So I just know I got to get to Battle Phase. And I go ahead and he goes in Imperm. So I get, this is the second time, dude. Second time today, I just get punished by putting my card in Imperm column. So now I don't shut off the Emperor. So that means I'm going to have to be burned. So I believe this summon brings me to 850. So I summon Gearfried and I just attempt to go to battle. And like hindsight looking back, knowing my hand and knowing like what would have happened, I should have just Droplets the Emperor on summon, prevented him from getting the trap. So we go here to the battle phase. We smoke the Trooper, equip the Emperor, smack for 16. And then I go, main phase 2, I go 1 for 1, pitching the Spar because I don't want to be locked. Technically, I don't need to be locked, but I can just so I can get to like double Charles here. But he goes in and uses Blaze Accelerator. He sends Scattershot. So then I summon out Ricardetto, and then Chain Links happen. Scattershot triggers the burn me for 5, and then since it was sent off Blaze Accelerator, he can send up to 2. So this damn card, dude. This card has killed me more times than anything. So I'm just trying to figure out, I was like, wait a minute, like, so like if I negate the Gearfried, you don't get to summon, right? But he burns for, he sends for cost. This card literally sends 2 for cost, which will then burn me for 1,000, which I'm at 850, which kills me. And this is where I'm like, son of a gun. Like, if I literally would have just droplets the freaking Emperor, I would have way more life. So I literally get killed by this gimmick yet again. The gimmick strikes once more. But all fun and games, man. This is like the 3rd time this card has killed me. And it's always like in like the deciding factor of the match too. It's never killed me. And I'm just reading just to make sure, like, this is insane. Like, I can't believe Scattershot. Scattershot's old, like older than like even Spar. So like the fact that it's just not a once per turn. It has 2 effects that happen when it's sent to the graveyard. And I was like, yeah, there's nothing I can do there, man. Good on you, brother. You did what Volcanic's supposed to do, and that's burn me to death. But yeah, super shout out. Like, that card just sucks. Like, Konami, ban that card. That card should not exist. Get rid of that card. Sayonara. But anyway, all fun games, right? So we move on into the next game 3 versus Stun. So this is like Thunder King Ryo bullshit. Like, this is pure stun. There's Beckon in my hand again, which is not the end of the world. Again, Beckon is not the worst card to see, but it just kind of like makes it to where like you have to pivot. So I end up going here to the Chalice to go ahead and search out, I think, Ogier, because like I don't have access to getting access to Uppercutter, so I just go ahead and search out Ogier. I ask him if he has anything on Resolution. He says no. There's Shade Brigandine coming clutch here. So since I opened OSS, I make a misplay here, and I send Uppercut, and I send the wrong Battling Boxer. I should have sent Spar here instead, and I was like, oh, now I see it. But I think, like, in my hindsight, I was thinking, I was like, oh, I go OSS, send, because I have Shade, I want to use Shade Brigandine. So I should have gone Shade, I should have gone Shade, sent the other one, use this to grab Renault special, use Spar, and then, like, I had, like, different lines and stuff like that. But in my, I think I just saw the line without Shade, and then I was like, oh, I have Shade Brigandine, which helps me here. So I go OSS to go ahead and send, to go ahead and summon out the Ricciardetto to bring back out the Uppercutter, which is going to then get me into Spar, and then I can special out Spar. You know, same shit, different day. Or, you know, same shit, different game, right? It was just different avenues and stuff to do. Like I said, this game, this deck is like a mathematical equation, and there's just so many, like, starts and finishes, and just This is why I love the deck, dude. And like I plan to be introducing some more decks to the channel moving forward, and like doing more of these episodes featuring those new decks. But like this deck just performs and is so rewarding and such a like skill level deck that I just like. It's hard for me to move away from this deck because like the more you're in tune with the deck, the better you are with it, and like the more you're able to play around and like play through things. Like the deck is truly, even with the loss of his old, we're able to do a lot, as you guys can see in the videos. We've had like 2 bad hands, but like statistics, you know, like variance and stuff like that play into it. So we end up, you know, making Charlemagne move forward, make the Baron defloor, and then we go ahead and equip here to Ogier to Charles, banish for Gearfried to summon. And we summon out Gearfried. So we set droplets in phase. We get to resolve everything. Roland to go ahead and grab the Angelica's Angel Ring here. So like the end board is like Charlemagne, Baron, Gearfried with Angel Ring. So like that, and the Charles can't be destroyed or targeted to, which is super strong. With a set droplets as well. With the Beckon in hand, meaning we get like a free discard here, which is pretty crazy. He's gonna go ahead and activate some sort of field spell, like a jammer card. And since field spells and continuous spells stop off the Angel Ring, I go ahead and have to like respond with cards that negate activations and destroy it. So like those 2 continuous spell-like cards, the field spell and dimensional barrier, went ahead and had to be answered. So a normal's inspect board. And I was like, I haven't seen this card in a hot minute. And I was like, so I get 2 effects. That's what I get. I get 2 effects. And I was like, that's all I need is 2 effects. So he activates this golden branded gold, the Gren C card, whatever it is. I know that this card lets you, like, if a card be destroyed by battle card effect, you can send a fusion from your extra deck. So, like, he's asking the attack of everything, and I'm just like, well, you know, like, everything's huge. Every fire, like, 4,000 Charles, 3,500 Gearfried, 3,000 Baron. So he goes in and sets a card, and then he activates Mage Power. What in the 2013, right? Like, not even 2013, what in, like, the 2000, I don't know when this card came out, but what and I'm like, okay, so he's 35, and he goes ahead and he attempts to move into battle phase. And I was just explaining to him, I was like, you can attack Angelica, but she'll just run and hide. And during damage, I just go ahead and fire off the droplets, sending the Angelica's Angel Ring, because since he had the continuous spell, Angel Ring was already gone. But something interesting is he could have saved the border from battle with that card, but during the end phase, Charles, I haven't even used Charles' effect to pop yet. Charles was going to be able to solve the border regardless of what was going to happen here. And so right now, I don't know what his final set card is too, but like we're just going to solve that because I'm not even worried about it. So in phase, Charles will pick back up the Angel Ring and equip from the deck. Charles will go ahead and destroy the set, which ends up being Monster Reborn. And I was like, bro, why would you set that card? And he's like, I had to set it to make it big enough to like get over something. And I was like, oh, I get it. All right, so move on. We just switch Angelica to the offense and move into battle phase and just smoke for enough damage here. Moving on into the game 2, Stun gets to go first, which is pretty crazy because like even though a lot of the floodgates are at 1, sometimes all you gotta do is just see one of them, right? Just one floodgate, and you got it, man. Is that Fossil? That's Fossil Dino. That's crazy. So he ends up setting, I think, his entire hand. So I end up drawing for turn. So I'm like, wow, this is gonna be crazy. I go ahead and normal summon, I believe. All right, I special summon Red Layer. Normal summon out Uppercutter. Uppercutter uses his effect. We go ahead and grab Spar. Spar will special. We get to overlay here for Dempsey. And I do not know what I think his traps were just like bluffs too. And like I was trying to like play around like any type of like tomfoolery that would be back there, like floodgates or anything. But we're doing the full combo here. But we get to show you guys like what Red Layer can be utilized for. So we get to make an early Baron here, which will allow me to like be protected. Since he hasn't flipped anything over yet, so it's like guarantees me to solve or like answer potentially 2 of his set back rows. Because Baron can pop 1, and then if he has anything in response, I can negate it. But we special summon out Flint Lady to go ahead and go up into Hida. And then we go ahead and resolve the Succession, I believe. Or I think I go ahead and use Baron's effect right here. No, I don't. Okay, so we go Succession, bring back out the Justiciar, and the Beckon are going to go ahead and make Power Tool Braver. Braver will, equipped up to like 3 from, graveyard or field. But now we're doing this kind of insulated through Baron, even though like one skill drain could just kind of wreck us here, but like I feel like we're in a really good position with skill drain. So we go ahead and add the Ricciardetto, and then I think we step up into the same combo sequence we would normally do up into Princess. Joy's effect will special summon out Ricciardetto. Ricciardetto will then bring back any of our level 4 Fire Warriors. We bring back here. We'll use Princess to bring back out Spar, Synchro into Angelica. you know, business as usual here. Just now we're just protected by a Baron, which is not too crazy. I believe he's holding. I think he has. I think that was Dark Bribe being said. I'm surprised he never used Dark Bribe. So Durandal here to go ahead and chain Angelica to the Durandal to go ahead and send Oliver. We go ahead and synchro here for Charles. And then, so we're Warrior Lock now, which makes me kind of wish there was like a big level 5 or level 4 like Warrior link we could go into, but there's not because like Princess locks us. But anyway, we go into here. We make Charles. We go ahead and attempt to pop something. So we pop Strike, which he doesn't use it, which is insane. It's kind of, I wonder if he was just like kind of like didn't know where to hit and maybe got overwhelmed, but just kind of crazy he didn't use it. So seeing that Strike's now gone, we just take those wins. We take those, and we move on into the battle phase, I believe, because we're just, you know, might as well, like, we have damage on board. He's going to attempt to Imperm Baron, and I'll just negate with Charles to go ahead and negate it. And we just go battle phase, Princess into the set. It'll be Falso Dyna, we'll just use Baron to negate, and then he'll attempt a punishment here. And I'm like, okay, so everything is huge, so, like, as long as you send something, he's trying to send something, you know, worth sending. He ends up sending, I think, something with 25, Albion. I was like, you can't send that because it has to be, like, equal to or greater than, and Albion's 25, so it has to be 27 or higher. So he sends Mirror Jade, and I was like, what are you going to destroy? And he said, Baron. And I was like, okay. So then we just swing in for 35, and then we go through here, look at her. I'm trying to think here. I have Ash in hand as well, which is pretty good. So we just move on to the end phase. We'll go here to Charles to pick up Durandal and equip Malgus from the grave. So, like, he's on top deck. He has, like, he's going to attempt to go Terraform, and I was like, no, bro, I'm not going to let that fly. I go ahead and negate with Charles, and I get to shuffle 3 back and draw to give me more advantage to put back resources and everything. And again, following, like, as long as he doesn't do anything, like, we're going to be able to solve whatever he does. Switch to attack, move to battle. And that is it, guys. So our final record was, I think it was 2-1-1, which isn't too terrible, but thank you guys for watching. Charles from Team COG, signing out.